Hello, guys, and welcome to Tuesday, November 17th, 2020. If you guys have missed my instruction for the day, this video will help you get caught up with everything you need. So just follow along with me as I read it aloud. Read the problem below, then explore different ways to understand writing eighths as decimals. So how do the decimal forms of fractions help you compare their values? Find patterns or relationships among fractions for 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, and 4/8, and 5/8. This is just a review of what we went over last time. If you want to get a more in-depth video of this, please go to Monday, November 16th, and view that video there. I have separated these into columns with a fraction form, a music form, a picture form, and a decimal form. So 1/8 in picture form is represented by this little blue slice of pizza here being shaded in. This little slice here represents 0.125 of the whole. So if I had 8 of these 1.25 things, I would have one whole thing. You can think of this as just a fraction of 1/8. So 1/8 is equal to 0.125. Now 2/8 is equal to 1/4. 1/4 is equal to 1/8 plus 1/8. We know that 1/8 is equal to 0.125. So I can literally substitute where I see 1/8 with its decimal form of 0.125 plus 0.125 equals 0.25. Now, for the rest of your life, whenever you see 1/4, 2/8, to think a quarter every single time. I'm going to continue on to 3/8. 3/8 is just 2/8 plus another eighth, which is 0.25 plus 0.125. That gives us 0.375. We continue this pattern. Another word for pattern that you want to get familiar with is called algorithm. If we take this solution and add it to another eighth, we get a half. 1/2 is represented by a circle that's shaded in half, and this is its fraction form. So 3/8 plus an eighth give me a half, or 0.5, 0.500, 0.5000000. Then you have 5/8, which is a half plus one more, which is what we have here, which is equal to 0.5 plus 0.125, which equals 0.625. Then you have 6/8, which is equal to 3/4. If you had 3/4 of a dollar, you would have 75 cents, right? Well, if I have 5/8 plus an eighth, I get 0.625 plus 0.125 and get 0.750. Last but not least is 7/8, which is almost the whole except for one, which is 6/8, which is 3/4, plus an eighth, which is 0.875. Now, if you notice, these are terminating decimals. They have a definite end. They are not repeating decimals. So, in the chart below, write the decimal form of the unit fraction 1/4, 1/8, and 1/2. Well, we did that previously, so I wrote them down. If you look here, 1/8 is exactly half of 1/4. So if I were to divide 0.25 by 2, I would get 0.125. If I were to divide 1/2 by 2, I would get a fourth, or I would get 0.25. If I multiply 0.125 by 2, I get 0.25 or a quarter. If I multiply it again, 0.25 or a quarter by 2, I get 0.50. So explain how you could get from one row to the next by multiplying. Well, you just multiply by 2. And how could you build on knowing the decimal form of 1/5, which you found in Reflect, to find the decimal form of 3/5? Well, I don't know if we went over the Reflect portion, so Let's just figure out what 1/5 is in decimal form. 1/5 in decimal form is the same as saying 1 being divided by 5. Can 1 go into 5? Or can 5 go into 1? No, it cannot. 5 cannot go into 1, so that's a 0. That means that I now have to add a decimal point because I know this is going to be a fraction of the whole or a part of the whole. I'm going to place a placeholder of 0 in the tenths place. How many times can 5 go into 10? Well, it can go in 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. Basically, 1/5 is equaling 2/10. So, if 1/5 is equal to 0.2, 3/5 is going to be equal to 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5, which is equal to 5, or 1 plus 1 plus 1 divided by 5, which is equal to 3/5. That's why this is equal to that. But I know that 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 is the same as 0.2 plus 0.2 plus 0.2, which this is the same as 3 times 0.2. Or you can see it expressed as this sometimes, which is equal to whatever this is equal to, which is 0.2, 0.4, 0.6. So 0.6. So 3/5 is going to be equal to 0.6. Let's continue onward and forward. This says Juan sells bread by weight. He cuts 1 pound loaf of banana bread into 6 equal slices. He wants to complete the table showing the total weight for the various number of slices. What decimals will he write in this table? Well, you can estimate it, and you can use estimation to understand the problem. So 1/6, we know, is going to be somewhere in between 1/8 and 1/5. So we know it's going to be between, or 0.125 and 0.2. So let's figure out what 1/6 of a pound is in decimal form. So what is 1/6 of a pound in decimal form? Well, I know that this can be written as 1 divided by 6, or 6 divided into 1. How many times can 6 go into 1? 0 times. So I know it's going to be a fraction. So I add a 0 here for the placeholder of the tenths place. And I ask myself, how many times can 6 go into 10? 6 can go into 10 one time. Now, 6 times 1 is 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. I have a remainder of 4 after I divided that into tenths. I'm going to divide it into hundredths. I bring down this 0 here. How many times can 6 go into 40? 6 can go into 40 6 times, because 6 times 6 is 36. 40 minus 36 is 4. So I'm going to put another 0 in the thousandths place. Put a 0 down here. How many times can 6 go into 40? It can go 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. 40 minus 36 is 4. Add another 0 into this place. Put the 0 down there. 6 goes in the 40 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. So this goes on forever and ever and ever. So this means that 1